Hello everyone, I Komal Gangi, Faculty of MBA from Tecnia, Institute of Advanced Studies. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on directing. Now, directing is one of the major functions of management. In ordinary sense, when we talk about directing, it means giving instructions and guiding people in doing the work. In our daily life, we come across many situations, like a hotel owner directing his employees to complete certain activities for organizing a function, a teacher directing his students to complete an assignment, a film director directing the artists about how they should act in the film, etc. In all these situations, we can observe that directing is done to achieve some predetermined objective. Now, when we talk about directing in the context of management of an organization, directing refers to the process of instructing, guiding, counseling, motivating, and leading people in the organization to achieve its objectives. Directing is the guidance, the inspiration, the leadership of those men and women that constitute the real core of the responsibilities of management. It helps the managers in ensuring quality performance of jobs by the employees and achievement of the organizational goals. It involves supervision, communication, providing leadership to the subordinates and motivating them to contribute their best to the organization. Directing is said to be a process in which the managers instruct, guide, and oversee the performance of the workers to achieve predetermined goals. Directing is said to be the heart of management process. Planning, organizing, staffing have got no importance if directing function does not take place. Directing initiates action, and it is from here that the actual work starts. In simple words, it can be described as providing guidance to workers in doing work. Now, in the field of management, directing is said to be all those activities which are designed to encourage the subordinates to work effectively and efficiently. According to one of the scholars, that is Human, directing consists of process or technique by which instruction can be issued and operations can be carried out as originally planned. Therefore, directing is the function of guiding, inspiring, overseeing and instructing people towards the accomplishment of organizational goals. Directing is an important function of management which involves communicating, providing leadership to the subordinates, motivating them to contribute to the best of their capability for the achievement of organizational objectives. It starts with issuing orders and instructions to subordinates and ends with getting things done by satisfaction of various needs of the subordinates. Now, when we talk about the essential elements of directing function of management, the essential elements are issuing orders and instructions, guiding, counseling, and teaching the subordinates the proper way of doing the job, supervising the work of subordinates to ensure that their performance conforms to the plans, motivating the subordinates to direct their behavior in a desired pattern, and maintaining discipline and rewarding effective performance. Now, let us discuss the main characteristics of directing. The first characteristic of directing would be that directing initiates action. Directing is a key managerial function. A manager has to perform this function along with planning, organizing, staffing and controlling while discharging his duties in the organization. While other functions prepare a setting for action, directing initiates action in the organization. Now, secondly, directing takes place at every level of management. Every manager from top executive to supervisor performs the function of directing. The directing takes place wherever superior-subordinate relationship exists within an organization. Now, directing is a continuous process. It is a continuous activity. It takes place throughout the life of the organization, irrespective of the people occupying managerial positions. We can observe that in organizations like Infosys, Tata, BHEL, HLL, and the managers may change, but the directing process continues because without direction, the organizational activities cannot continue further. Now, directing flows from top to bottom. Directing is first initiated at the top level and flows to the bottom through organizational hierarchy. It means that every manager can direct his immediate subordinate and take instructions from his immediate boss. Now we'll be starting up with the discussion of the principles of directing. Providing good and effective directing is a challenging task as it involves many complexities. A manager has to deal with people with diverse backgrounds and expectations. This complicates the directing process. Certain guiding principles of directing may help in the directing process. These principles would be as follows. One by one, I'll be discussing each principle. Now, the first principle would be maximum individual contribution. This principle emphasizes that directing techniques must help every individual in the organization to contribute to his maximum potential for achievement of organizational objectives. It should bring out untapped energies of employees for the efficiency of organization. For example, a good motivation program or plan with suitable monetary and non-monetary rewards can motivate an employee to contribute his maximum efforts for the organization, as he or she may feel that their efforts will bring them suitable rewards. The second principle is harmony of objectives. Very often we find that individual objectives of employees and the organizational objectives as understood are conflicting to each other. For example, an employee may expect attractive salary and monetary benefits to fulfill his personal needs. The organization may expect employees to improve productivity to achieve the expected profits. But good directing should provide harmony by convincing that employee rewards and work efficiency are complementary to each other. Now, the third principle of directing is unity of command. This principle insists that a person in the organization should receive instructions from one superior only. If instructions are received from more than one, it creates confusion, conflict and disorder in the organization. Adherence to this principle ensures effective direction. The next principle of directing is appropriateness of directing technique. According to this principle, appropriate motivational and leadership technique should be used while directing the people based on subordinate needs, capabilities and attitudes and other situational variables. For example, for some people, money can act as a powerful motivator, while for others, promotion may act as an effective motivator. So this varies from individual employee to the other. Now the next principle is managerial communication. Effective managerial communication across all the levels within the organization makes direction effective. Directing should convey clear instructions to create total understanding to subordinates. Through proper feedback, the manager should ensure that subordinate understands his instructions very clearly. Now the next principle is use of informal organization. A manager should realize that informal groups or organizations exist within every formal organization. He should spot and make use of such organizations for effective directing. The next principle is leadership. While directing the subordinates, managers should exercise good leadership, as it can influence the subordinates positively without causing dissatisfaction among them. The next is your follow through. Merely giving an order is not sufficient. Managers should follow it by reviewing continuously whether orders are being implemented accordingly or any problems are being encountered. And if necessary, suitable modifications should be made in the direction. Now, if these principles are followed in an organization in a proper manner, the organizational task would be completed effectively and efficiently. So this was all about the principles of direction. Let me discuss in brief with you the process of how direction works. First of all, we begin with anticipating the willingness or response of the subordinate to the directing effort. And after that response is being anticipated, making selection of the right type of method of directing which is appropriate to the task requirements for evoking the anticipated response is sought. And after that, making use of stimulus force in the event of a gap, if there is a gap in anticipation between the anticipated response and the actual response. So we find that gap by making use of that simulating force. And finally, we develop and make use of methods of personal communication keeping in line with step number 1, 2 and 3. So, from the above discussion, one can justify that direction surely is the heart of management process, and heart plays an important role in the human body as it serves the function of pumping blood to all the parts of the body which makes the part function. So, in a similar manner, direction helps the subordinates to perform at the best of their abilities, and that too in a healthy environment. Now, the manager makes use of the elements of direction here so that work can be accomplished in a proper and right manner. According to Ernest Dale, directing is what has to be done and in what manner through directing procedures and policies for accomplishing performance standards. Therefore, it is rightly said that direction is the essence of management process. So, I hope all of you have understood the directing function of management. Thank you very much.